And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's going to be a different stream today, as we will be trying to document the last moments of World Adrift. It is a game that has touched my heart in more ways than one, and unfortunately, the game will be shutting down in July of 2019, so I wanted to take the time to at least make my peace with it, enjoy every last moment I can before it finally shuts down. And do know that, I don't plan to grief anybody or things of that nature. Also, I just messed up the tab. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Professional streamer here. But we're going to go ahead and take off. I'm just going to open up the sales. We'll talk a little bit about what's happening, right? The game will be posting an update and wiping. And after that final update, that will be it for Worlds Adrift. There will be really nothing else to talk about here. But, oh jeez, that's not good. Also, well, this game is early access, so let's not forget that lots of problems to be had. And like ragdolling, apparently you can fall from that distance, and if you ragdoll, you will survive. I did not know that. But this game had so many pleasant things about it that I want to make sure that we know going forward that this game had a beautiful soundtrack. It had an amazing atmosphere, and unfortunately it just could not capture enough of a sustainable income to keep going, and it's saddening. It really is. I have lots of kind words, I've for this game, plenty of memories I've had in the year and a half that I played it. I believe I came in May of, a little earlier than that, May of 2018, and that was a really fun time. There was so many nice things to play around with, the fact that you can make your own ship and explore islands, it's just something that really appeals to a lot of people. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough people to make it sustainable. And while we're waiting to descend so I can pick up my stuff again, I would like to say that all these islands are also player created, right? So somebody took the time to gradually sculpt these islands to make them look beautiful and well polished. And the island creator will still be available after the game has sunsetted, but it's definitely a sad day for early access games, and I wish Bossa the best, but I also hope that if a novel idea like this becomes sustainable in the future, then I hope they may reapproach making a game like this, because I have many fond memories of just looking out towards the horizon, enjoying some serenity. And really, this game is about keeping a relaxed demeanor even after the game freezes every once in a while, because that's just how it is. I actually do have a friend here I've been having the pleasure of exploring the game with, and I personally have had a lot of fun showing him the ropes. And I will say, even after all these bugs, there's an enjoyable aspect to the game that really it has its charm. It definitely has its charm. And the grappling hook obviously is really fun. Lots of fun to be had with it. And, there are things that are frustrating, right? The PvP in this game wasn't necessarily the most accessible because, you could definitely get very far with a squad, but solo play was increasingly difficult because you had to do everything yourself. And sometimes it's really frustrating for players that farm a lot of materials and they just have it stolen from them from pirates. I'm not gonna say I've never pirated anybody, but the general consensus was you never really want to pirate anybody that can't defend themselves, and as long as they have cannons, you know, well, they're open for business now. I will say that we're generally we've got a loom here, which is added in a previous update. I personally have never had one before, but you can see, you know, we've definitely spent time farming materials for trading, for selling, and so the problem with a do whatever game, you know, in my opinion, is you make your own fun, right? But there's nothing to work towards even after you get to tier 4. It's just, we're going to take your stuff. But, you know, this game had a lot of polish that needed to be there and just wasn't. And it saddens me on some front to, you know, they tried fixing it so that, you know, PvP wasn't, they made a PvE server, and all that did was split the player base. Right, and Birding Burp, I see you in the chat. We're having a discussion. You know, I'm going to be documenting my last months of Worlds Adrift. We're just going to have a conversation, you know, about the gaming industry and the way early access is. It's an investment, right? It's a lot of risk involved, and depending on, you know, several factors, sometimes things don't work out. And don't get me wrong, you know, that a lot of people can say, well, you know, this game could do really well if it had more money, and sometimes money isn't the issue. Sometimes it's the logistics. And, you know, I understand that this game had a lot of problems with stream sniping, but I'm just going to say I have no cannons. You know, I'm really just here to help people enjoy the game as much as possible, right? And if you sincerely want to rob me for what I have, I'm just going to tell you right now, I really don't have anything you'd want. These are all low quality materials, and I'm trying to get my bucket list done of crossing into a tier 3 zone. Right, I've done tier 4. I've made it to tier 4, but every time I went into a tier 3, it just didn't end well. Ironically, it's actually harder to get into tier 3 than it is tier 4, because the way sand walls work is that it damages everything, right, at the same time, but it doesn't disable any components. So as long as you're pushing in fast enough, you really don't have to worry about anything. But you know, the game doesn't really spell out how much power you need, for example, to get across an area. Like, these engines are okay, right? 35 power apiece, and we're not too heavy. Yeah, we're talking about Spatial IO for their server rental. They had proprietary hardware, software. And, you know, they were dropping $140,000 on, you know, server stuff. So, you know, that kind of financial strain, it's hard to keep up with, you know, when you still got a fledgling game that you're trying to polish. And, you know, it's frustrating. And, yeah, you know, Spatial IO was definitely a limiting factor that it is a real shame. I completely 100% agree with you. You know, could it have been done a different way? Probably, right? But for the scope that the game was in, you know, some would argue maybe that was the best option at the time. And, you know, who am I to say otherwise? I'm just going to say that, you know, I've enjoyed my time playing, and there's definitely no doubt in my mind that I had a lot of fun, you know, journeying across these islands, looking for little secrets and things like that, right? Like the fact that you can just find all these little different nooks and crannies. It's something that you really don't see in a lot of games, right? Like something that just, it looks like this world is just full of possibilities. And, you know, this game obviously isn't the most optimized or anything like that, right? But it's the idea behind chasing the skies, you know, looking at all the different kinds of islands that you can find. The PvP wasn't exactly, you know, polished either, right? But, like, it was really fun to just, you know, really just unload your cannons on something and watch ships go down into the abyss, especially after they've been chasing you for what seems like forever. We're actually going to open this up So again, one thing I would like to say is that the Loom animation is really pretty. Unfortunately, you can't really see it when I open up the UI, but I will say that when it's crafting something, I thought it was pretty cool. And you know, we're looking for knowledge just to get into tier 3 before the wipe that will be happening on around June 10th, June 11th. But you know, we're looking for something that really gives us an idea of what makes this game so great. And you know, actually, I might be able to pull in right here. I would like to say that, you know, this game could have been saved if better decisions were made, but you know, I couldn't tell you. I can't tell you what would have worked and what wouldn't have. I'm not a game expert, right? I don't claim to be, but it's a saddening proposition when a game this ambitious just couldn't be lucrative. I'm wondering actually if I could, might be able to set it down right there. Let's find out. Okay. Also, the fact that it disables your hook if, oh, okay, and I'm almost dead instantly. That's, again, this game and the physics had a very love-hate relationship, and, you know, if anything, I appreciate the fact that sometimes you don't die from things that you apparently would die from in real life, but at that same time, it's like, I feel like the physics implementation was just never spot on. It was always needing adjustments, and it never got where it needed to be. And, you know, I've been trying to bring people together, you know, like, I've definitely rolled up on a few people, and I haven't pirated them, just based out of, you know, you guys really don't have anything, and you're just trying to mosey on by. So I'm not going to pirate you guys, right? If anything, you know, everybody that I've met, you know, they've shared their stories with me. You know, some people are rather new to the game, and they, you know, they were saying, actually somebody told me that this is the perfect game. This is exactly what I've been looking for after all these years. And it's really touching. And so, you know, we can definitely talk about developer priorities, and, you know, believe me, like, I would love to hear your stories. You know, all your fond memories, whether you've been pirated, you've pirated other people, you know, you sunk your first ship. I'm all for that. You know, this is a time where I want to genuinely document people's experiences. And, you know, it's frustrating because I remember when I was playing, you know, there were certain things that I wish that weren't, you know, a thing. And they kind of nerfed the wall damage. And, you know, yeah, we could talk about individual physics too on rocks. Like, you know, at some point that's cool and all, but, you know, when you look at CPU loads and the way that the server was being handled, you know, apparently the animals being rendered was actually causing a big strain too. You know, they could have easily have just made it so that mantas only spawn if you're making X amount of noise for like X amount of time, right? As opposed to they're just around all the time. Like, you're trying to make, you know, a thriving biome, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, you know. There's something serene in being alone, you know, looking for other people to fly the skies with. You know, this game definitely has lots of performance issues, and, you know, I'm definitely not going to say that 235. Yeah, okay, cool. How much power? 12? I can't really use it. I will say, one thing I did like is the Cypher mechanic, and I'm really sad that I'm only going to be able to experience it for a couple more weeks, because the idea that you can create a wonderful kind of engine and then min-max it is just, you know, that's super cool, in my opinion, right? And yeah, I heard about that, you know, had they removed the mantas on the latest PTS load, right? Server load by 60%, right? It means there are more animals that are causing a strain than human players, which I think is ridiculous, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like the mantas were more of an inconvenience of anything else. Like, if anything, they're the reason why you had swivels on your, which are basically just human and, you know, animal deterrents. You know, cannons kind of did the job, but not nearly as well, right? Like, they weren't really needed to be there. And on that front, you know, it's frustrating because this game, you know, you're flying, and I remember, it still happens sometimes, right? But remember, you're just standing on your ship, and then you get launched forward, you get launched backwards, and then you die, right? You had to constantly be grappled onto something. Otherwise, you run the risk of dying, and that's just not fun. It's not fair. Sometimes you have really expensive gear on you, right? And to lose that just so easily it's scary, right? It's the fact that the game doesn't really, it's not very forgiving in that regard. And, you know, the premise behind PvP is that, you know, it's supposed to be, you know, there is a risk involved, but there should be more to gain. And, you know, passing through mini servers, quote unquote, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fixes that came too late. I definitely agree with that. It's frustrating, but I'm definitely trying to get everybody's story, you know. I'm sure you've got your fair share of stories where, you know, you're spending time just admiring the landscape. But I thought I started in 2018, but I started in 2017. And, oh, cool. I'm gonna wear those. I started in 2017, right? Like, I took a hiatus for a while, but I just like everybody else, I was waiting for them to polish content and add new content, right? We were talking about, you know, owning territory and being able to have a place to call home, and that how like different islands would rise and fall, and, you know, territory would change on those kinds of factors. And it excited me, but the thing is that, you know, then they basically said something changed in their spatial OS, their server proprietary stuff. You know, and they were seeing a lot of failed logins, and they were saying, well, basically we're going to stop development on this because to do it, it's going to take, like, we have to rewrite 40% of our code. And I'm like, well, you know, all right, I guess do what you need to, but, you know, we're still waiting on substantial content. And, you know, not even a few months later, they were like, well, we actually have chosen to sunset the game because we can't afford it anymore. And, you know, and people were angry, right? They review bombed, as, you know, some people will definitely do. And, you know, at the end of the day, personally, I would say that it's a childish way to do it when it's not going to mean anything in a few weeks, right? Like, you can just say, oh, well, I'll never buy from Bossa again. Okay. I mean, I'm personally frustrated, right? But there's very little you can do other than just, you have to wait for things to come to fruition. If you don't want to buy a game in early access, there's a risk involved. It's just, you know, it's just how it is. You know, a lot of AAA industry games will try and, you know, sell now, fix later kind of deals, but it isn't healthy or, you know, productive to do that. And personally, I would say, so that you just stop wasting metal, I wish you could just pick up your shipyard or something like that and have it like fold in your inventory and then just redeploy it so that you don't constantly have to build a new one. And yeah, so you enjoyed the exploration aspect of this game, right? Player-made islands, you know, you're looking at the wonderful world around you. The sun, you know, rises and sets, and you see the moon. I really enjoyed that, right? And PvP is definitely fun. I definitely appreciate that. Was it ever polished to the point where, like, you know, it became thoroughly enjoyable? And, you know, no, but it was heart racing for sure, because, you know, you have people slinging across like Spider-Man from ship to ship. You're trying to save your ship in the process of getting sunk. Well, you're also trying to sink the other ship and get loot before, you know, things become too dangerous. And I have seen many a well-made ship fall down into the abyss. And there was never, you know, a foolproof kind of ship to use, but a lot of people used box configurations, mainly because you could put a cannon on every side and just rain death from above. And somehow, you know, the overheat mechanic was intended to discourage the abusing of cannon placement, and it really just made the PvP less enjoyable from what what I heard. And you know, I don't know. You know, this game had a lot of balance issues in terms of, you know, if I lose my ship, how long does it take for me to get it back? You know, had they implemented a blueprint system a lot. So it was something that just, it wasn't easy to get right back into it, right? They should have done something like that. The odd flot, that was flawless, and whenever you had those, best PvP experience. No, absolutely. My thing is, when this game worked, it worked well, but when it didn't, that's when I had the issue, right? Like, a lot of it was, you know, am I gonna lag out? Am I gonna be launched forward? You know, what is waiting for me around the corner? And I will say that, you know, you can definitely know that I have my complaints about the game, but more often than not, a lot of it just comes with, it needs polish. And this game just, it needed more love. It needed a more economically feasible way of running. And it's exciting, right? Like, you run up on a new player, you know, in a PvP area, and you're like, you know, can I take his stuff? Can we take that ship? You know, it's a PvP that was just interesting on so many different levels, because technically you were never on an even playing field. One player always had maybe a faster ship, maybe they had something more agile, they had their own unique strategy. And because the ship design was not the limiting factor, you know, granted, you know, you were constrained to weight, but other than that, you know, even then, when you started playing out way back when, as long as you kept getting databanks, eventually you unlocked all the upgrades, right, for the Atlas lifters, and then you basically just had to maximize your material usage, and you could build just about whatever you wanted, provided, you know, some designs are going to be heavier than others. But and you know, the boxes having the flat fronts for splash, you know, yeah, I guess there was a quote-unquote meta, right, of ships, but it is funny seeing a meta ship get blown to shreds by something smaller, you know, with one cannon and just trolling, right? There's a certain bliss in that. And this game, you know, they never even implemented capacity for the cannons, and I'm glad they didn't, but on the same front, it's like, it's a useless stat that doesn't really mean anything now. So the fact that Cyphers can give you the stat, it's just, you always want minus capacity because it isn't factored into the quality of the weapon or the cannon. And you know, granted, I'd have liked something that you could unfurl and refurl your sails quickly, like all at once, but you know, just small things. I again like to nitpick about certain things. It's like you're always gonna do that when you like something enough to want to see it grow and improve. Like, I really did like looking at the stats of different weapons and stuff like that. Like, the first thing I always did when you go onto a new ship is, you know, let's look at their engines, let's look at their wings. You know, hey, do you have that blueprint? Like, essentially it was, I see you have something that I don't. Are you willing to share it? And sometimes that answer was no, sometimes it was yes. But when it was no, it's like, well, you know, what's stopping us from taking your stuff? And, you know, another thing I really enjoyed was being able to theory craft about ships that were left abandoned. You know, what happened to this one? Was it attacked by pirates? You know, sometimes the spawners are intact, sometimes they're not. So, you know, sometimes it'd say, well, this one probably got attacked by pirates, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like they survived the engagement. Okay, so we're actually rolling up on a place right now. And looking at this, see, like, these ships, they're just left there. And I think one of the biggest issues is that, you know, that just adds to the server load. You know, 100, 200 ships being made and then abandoned, and they're not cleaned up naturally because they don't technically have natural decay because of the blight, was kind of a band-aid fix. And the blight was basically like, oh, we see you have all these ships here, and some of them may not be used. Why don't I clean them up with like a sentient Roomba? And, you know, they felt that that was a good idea. I personally never liked it because it wasn't very well designed. But hello, Nate Dog, good to see you. I don't think you've ever played Worlds Adrift, but thank you for the condolences. It was a very fun game through and through, and it still is, so I'm documenting all the last moments I have with it. But, you know, if you did play it and I'm wrong, you know, I hope you also play it out through its last months. I also did not like that, you know, gas containers on the sides of buildings were... Also, I just want to show, you know, the kind of server load that this is not on my end. This is actually, you can kind of see how the Mantas are skipping frames because their servers just were never, ever quality. And I guess optimized. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the exact word. It's just, unfortunately, you know, the networking issues were never really resolved. They were just constantly being worked on. And I really enjoyed, you know, like you basically just go island to island, you know, and I kind of like the animation they had for this. Granted, you really only stick it like for a split second, but, you know, they even had a thing where now it tells you how many databanks are on the island, right? Right? Early on, right? You had actually this association called the Cardinal Guild, and they would map the islands. And it was a volunteer thing. They didn't get paid, right? They just did it out of kindness and a dedication to the game, and I like that, right? There was no in-game map that you could use. You had to use that one. And, you know, if you insist on something that it caused a young sandwich. How you doing? Good to see you. There's just a lot of frustration, you know, that the devs just didn't see certain things not working out, right? If you want to do PvE content, you have to do it in a way that is enjoyable, right? What about the Mantas made it challenging or like, you know, it added a new layer of gameplay? For me, it didn't really do much, right? All it was is like, okay, we got to turn off the engines because they're harassing us because we're making too much noise. If anything, they could have easily have been like, okay, like you can find certain blueprints that have silent quote-unquote engines or like some quiet running ones, but they're less powerful, right? There are so many different things that, you know, you could point out and say, look, like the fact that you didn't take this out when we were asking you to, it's frustrating, right? Like you're able to create these beautiful lush landscapes that are floating in the air, right? Without a care in the world, but the fact that the Mantas were causing such a problem and weren't addressed until the very end of the game's life, right? Like, and, you know, if anything, I enjoy just surveying the wreckage of stuff, and, you know, this was made out of bronze. Okay. And see, I also enjoyed the fact that you could scan things, it'll tell you what they're made out of, and it wasn't super in-depth, and it was just something really different. And you're right, you know, the devs didn't... I saw what the ships they were using, right? They didn't necessarily have, you know, ships that they would use. They just spawned them. They didn't really build them. And, you know, the downtime to make a ship was decreased at some limit, but it was also, you know, like, they could have easily have just buffed the data limits and made it a little bit more exciting to get data, because, you know, I hope that if the PTS is the same as the last patch. So, Young Sandwich, the OWCC stuff, I'm not too, you know, aware of right this second. I've not been too involved with them recently. In terms of, you know, I remember seeing the devs spawn ships, right, that were just made of lead. So 5 times knowledge, I am hoping that they make that a little bit more, because, you know, I want to be able to enjoy tier 4 and get there and comfortably, right? It's not something that I would say is a pain in the butt if we have enough time to gather all the materials. And I did see it was times 100, I think, on the PTS. See, like, one databank at tier 1 is 20, right, if I'm not mistaken. So it's 100 knowledge per, which I guess is okay, but I would rather have it like maybe times 10. 10 would be, I think, perfect, right? Like, we could just totally go island to island on a sail, and then as soon as we get, 3 or 4 islands, we already probably have a tier 3 ship ready to go. Also, Twitch doesn't like links, so you can definitely send it to me if you want. I'll take a look at it. But I don't know. There are just so many things about this game that I wish were different, right? Like, could you imagine how much different this would have been if, say, like Valve developed this or something? Like, kept the premise of the game the same. I can just imagine, like they'd probably find a way to make it a little bit more viable. Like the biggest thing is, spatial OS. They were not really caring about the the product. I guess they're more concerned about their profit, right? Like, you're spending way more money than you're making off the game. And that's unfortunate, right? Like, I'm definitely upset that they added durabilities to the lights that you can craft. That was not necessary. If anything, I kind of like what somebody said that I was talking to, that just make it so that they cost fuel. I think that would have been better, as opposed to make it so that they just break outright. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Because in real life, like, lamps don't break just because you've been using them for a while. You just have to put more fuel into them. That isn't necessarily going to cause it to malfunction. It's just, things have a longer lifespan than a few hours. Ooh. Jackpot. And my favorite thing is you can actually salvage these blueprints. This is very nice. And I can get knowledge off them. See, if I can salvage blueprints and get times 10 knowledge out of them, or times 5, that would be even cooler, right? And adventurous boots, okay. And, I don't know, it's a tough sale, right? Like, how can you tell a company, hey, do you want to buy us? Okay, how much money have you made? Well, actually, we're sunsetting it because we can't afford it. Okay, well, then we're not going to buy it. And, there's a level of disappointment I have that isn't necessarily warranted, because I'm sure people saw this coming at some level, right? Like, we all have access to Steam charts. We can see exactly just about how many people are playing, what the average rate is of people playing. And it hurts. It really hurts that even if you were a dedicated player, you got 2,500 hours. Because I personally had about like 250, I think, something like that. I'm running up on 250. It was just something to enjoy from hour 1 to hour 250. And it's just the way that it was developed just wasn't sustainable. And it bums me out, right? Like, this is a great learning experience, right? We can definitely learn from this in future game development cycles for other players. Or, I'm sorry, other developers. They'll you'll be like, maybe we shouldn't try implementing something that we don't have enough experience on. And, if we find out that the code isn't what we want it to be, then maybe we should probably think about restructuring it beforehand, right? I think more information was needed to develop a game of this scale, right? MMOs are notoriously difficult to develop because of the amount of effort that you have to put in. And listen, 3,000 hours you have in a game. I guarantee you that more than half of those were spent in frustration, but you still played because you enjoyed the premise. You enjoyed exploring, you enjoyed the PvP. You did say that, right? And there is a level of certainty in what I'm saying that says, if you could do it all again, you probably would. Because I know for a fact I probably would too, because it was It was not an experience that I've had with another game before. Like, you know, the fact of uncertainty that you'll never know if you're going to roll up on somebody. You'll never know if your stuff is going to get stolen in the next 10 minutes. It's just... Yeah, so the grinding. It was never, I would say, enjoyable in just gathering stuff, right? There was no level of enjoyment. It was more of, I need to get this done. It was more of a chore. And some MMOs, I would argue that, yeah, there are going to be parts that feel like a chore that, you know, are never going to be fun. But, you know, making it easier to get back into a ship, I think would have probably made PvP so much more to do and so much more fun to chase under. Because, you know, you could just say, all right, well, you can make your blueprint of the ship, and if you don't have the exact materials, you just get a lower quality version of your ship, right? So let's say I made everything at a tier 10. Okay, your blueprint says tier 10, but if you want to use a lower quality material, it's going to be heavier, right? The engines are not going to be as great, but it's just about your same ship, right? It's just, you know, a little less important. And then people are going to be like, well, what's stopping people from doing cookie cutter ships? Well, you know, obviously there are people, just like in trading card games, they net deck, and they just look at the best decks and they build those. So it's like, I would see it cool for like role-playing reasons. You know, you could have like just an armada of, you know, X-Wing fighters, for example. And, you know, yeah, you're right, definitely. Like, you know, flying phobia was a thing. You know, you definitely didn't want to lose all the stuff that... And people had alternate accounts just to get what they needed. And you're right, you know, a week to farm up for a uniform mat ship, that's ridiculous, right? They also needed to balance the fact that, you know, they don't want it to be too easy to get your stuff back, but it wasn't easy enough to get your stuff back. And balancing that is not something easy to do. There are so many different reasons why making the mats too easy to get would make it so that, you know, the PvP would be excessive, right? People could easily just, you know, make another ship as soon as they get blown out of the water and start. 5K the current rates, that's a lot. Yeah, so you're right. The fact that you can spend a week on your ship and then have somebody roll up on it and you lose it in like 4 minutes, that I had a problem with. Okay, so 5 times. That makes more sense. I was going to say, you know, 5,000 times the limit would be pretty excessive. You know, if anything, they definitely could have expanded on the PvP, and, like, you know, there was ways to make it so that you don't lose your ship entirely. They definitely could have rushed the blueprint system. I definitely would have liked that, because having to make your ship from scratch every time, it was annoying, right? Like, if you spend, like, you know, hours and hours making it, and somebody says, I want what you have, and you can't defend yourself, then you're screwed. And, you know, as I said, I'm not really aiming to pirate anybody. I'm literally just, as I see that you can spec into it now, I'm a tradesman. I do have the shipping container blueprint, and, you know, I will hand that out as I see people. And, you know, there were definitely factions and coalitions that were like, you know, if you don't join us, well, then we'll just pirate you and let you rebuild your ship. And let's see, this is interesting. Okay. This looks recent. What quality is this? Lead 5, aluminum? Nothing particularly interesting. And there was a bomb on there, but okay. And see, bombs were pretty weak in this game. They could be reacted to very quickly, and they just didn't do enough damage, right? And I don't know, the implementation of them just didn't make any sense to me. Like, it's a cool idea, right? But the thing is that they were way too expensive for what they did. And it's just, you know, how do you balance a viable PvP weapon? If anything, like pistols, right? If you run out of pistol bullets, you're basically just running ship to ship, trying to, like, tear things off the ship at that point. You don't even bother, like, shooting them anymore. And I did notice that they changed the spawning system so that if you keep spawning, it will damage your ship eventually, right? And for whatever reason, I think that's a weird way to balance it, because, you know, you're panicking trying to like save your ship and you're getting punished by respawning, right? When you can't defend yourself. And, you know, certain games do it better than others, right? So there are like quote unquote safe areas, like you can't be, you know, killed in a town, but this game didn't really have towns. So you had to find ways to protect yourself. So a lot of people hid their ship bubbles, and that was supposed to help a lot, but it's like, you know, if I can crash into your ship bubble and shoot cannon shots at it still, that's not really, you know, foolproofing your PvP. I'm not saying that you should be like totally immune, but the fact that you can still have that happen to you is frustrating, because bubble popping was prevalent when I played. I imagine it's still a strategy that you can do, but, you know, just straight out being a jerk because you want somebody's stuff that, you know, and they're begging you to. I think I've seen it a few times too, right? When people like are straight out begging for you to just stop and you keep attacking them, right? Like, there's nothing to say that you can't do that, but I would say that there is a quote-unquote hybrid kind of playstyle. And, you know, a hybrid server would have been like the best idea, right? Just to have one big server, I think, would have been the first issue, right? And they could have easily expanded it if they would have, you know, taken the time to say what's going to be the most economically feasible. Because if anything, more people are going to play on one server than split across two servers. And it's frustrating, right? Like, there is no right decision. And, you know, having... I really would have liked, you know, more of an ability for players to, like, open up businesses, right? And just so that they're less susceptible to attacks. They'd be like, hey, you know, I won't sell you anything if I see you in my shop, and things like that. I don't know. There's definitely like opening up avenues for roleplay. Also, this island's huge, and I've only found one databank, so that's another issue. Like, sometimes they hide the databanks really well, and yeah. Oh, chef kitchen set. I have these ciphers that I'm not even probably going to use because they're like common. And also, Legend 188, welcome. I see you. If you wouldn't mind, you know, you're more than welcome to chime in with your favorite stories about the game, because I will be documenting. You know, this is my goal. I'm going to throw it up on YouTube, and I'll look back at it and be sad because, you know, I have my complaints about this game, but I enjoyed it. All right, I'm still playing. I'm still streaming it, and it gives us all an opportunity to reflect. You know, rather you saw somebody and you tried pirating them, and oh yeah, so the fact that it tells you how many banks is really nice, right? It's a little frustrating if you're like, where's the last bank, and you can't find it, but, you know, I think would have also been nice is if they added like scanning tools to upgrade, where like you could find databanks a little bit easier. Like, if anything, they could have easily have just made it so that it was proximity based and it was like a beeping sound or something. I don't know. You know, that I think, you know, building, you know, exploration on that mechanic would have been an interesting idea. And, you know, it took so long to push out a patch, and then when they did push out the patch, it wasn't even, you know, well polished. You know, they added gestures, right? They added gestures before they really added polish to the game, and that's a little frustrating, right? Like, don't get me wrong, gestures are cool and all, but, you know, a part of me is like, why did you focus on that when, you know, I can't think of anybody that was like, hey, can you add gestures? You know, more of, how about quality of life things? Like, quality of life is always, you know, just a big factor in keeping your game playable, because if it's not enjoyable to play, then why play it, right? And, you know, you could definitely say, well, if it's not enjoyable, why are you playing it now? And it's like, well, I have like a love-hate relationship with this game, because, again, like, there is a certain fear about losing everything, right? Like, it's essentially like a permadeath system with a twist, right? You maintain all your knowledge and stuff, but you basically like if you're in a tier 4 zone, you get knocked back to tier 3 or tier 2 in some instances, right? And you have all your knowledge to build a new ship with what you had, but all materials on that ship are now forfeited if you cannot spawn on that ship anymore. And I actually did run into a new mechanic that I found, like a Marauder's Compass. I thought that was really cool. The fact that you can legitimately go on treasure hunts. I thought that was brilliant. And it rewards you for exploring, right? Like there are islands that you've probably never seen before that, you know, you go to them and you find something interesting. And you get rewarded for it. And, you know, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that, you know, things like that, had they been implemented earlier, probably would have kept me more interested, right? Like, had I known that they would have put that in, you know, like after I stopped playing, I'm like, well, you know, maybe I could play. And also the wipes. The wipes were pretty frustrating. It kind of just highlighted why, like, starting fresh in a game is so frustrating because, you know, Arc is made by some like really frustrating devs. But I did like the fact that when they did add new patches, they didn't have to wipe, right? Very rarely did they have to wipe. And even when they did, it wasn't that big of a deal because, you know, you just jump right back into things. Now on vanilla servers, it was awful. But at least on modded servers, right? Like, you know, there was like times 100 tame. Like I have like a good 250 hours on Arc, I think. And another thing I don't like is the hit detection on the grappling hook sometimes. I'm not saying you should be able to grab onto propellers, but the fact that like it disables your grappling hook temporarily if you hit them, you know, it scares you. I will need to figure out where I need to go next because I have no idea. I actually need to see. So, one moment while I figure out where to go next. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I think I know where I go next. Also, the fact that like you don't get a compass for free in this game was also very frustrating. Like the fact that back then you had to find the blueprint for it, and it wasn't even, you know, easy to come by. That is frustrating. If anything, they could have easily have made islands just have like kind of default blueprints or something like that. I don't know. Also, I had the idea because I couldn't find the metal bar blueprint. I just put it on the handle, the steering of the ship. That worked. So. And it looks like I'll be going in this direction. But yeah, you know, if you got any more fun stories for me, let me know. Because, again, this is all for us to just talk and relax and enjoy the atmosphere of the game. Now, if I do get pirated, well, I will say in advance, I'm not going to like it, but I'll at least ask him, you know, can we come to a compromise maybe? I'm not even armed, you know, honor among thieves, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, looking out towards the horizon, you see these giant walls, and you're crossing a wind wall for the first time. It's scary, right? And then, you know, somebody that takes you through, they laugh at you and say, wait until you see a storm wall. And I kind of like the idea that they were working on like a tier 5 zone and a tier 6 with like volcanoes and stuff like that, right? But the issue is that you would have had like power creep, and like if you get kicked out of tier 4, you know, or if you get a tier 5, where do you go? Do you go back to tier 4? Do they add respawners? Like, I don't know. The increasing amount of risk that would be involved in going into more dangerous zones, it didn't really translate very well. It felt good when you finally got through a wall, but like you're still vulnerable, right? You gotta park, you gotta like repair. But the music really got me like excited. I loved I love the concept of just, you're trying to shake off winds and you're trying to pilot, you know, with like a flimsy aircraft, right? You don't even know if you'll get through. And that's the biggest thing I didn't like. There was no like quote unquote official minimum power. There was no, you know, it was all hearsay, right? They were like, you know, you have two tier 4 engines, you'll be fine. Or if you have this amount of power. And there was a lot left to interpretation that I don't think paid off for them in the long run, just because of everything you needed to do to be efficient. And, you know, I would say that all things considered, I would have liked for them to publish, at least give an idea of like a recommendation, an official recommendation on how to get through a wall, right? There was no like in-game lore to like tell you, oh, well, maybe, you know, a significant power, or like you need these minimum of wings. And it's hard to make that into lore, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you could have easily have said, you know, successful passages through these supposed wind walls require, you know, like engines of significant strength. You know, we recommend at least this number, and storm walls are like dangerous, but you know, you can avoid the dangers by installing this on your ship or something. I don't know. Because I feel like a lot of games, they'll give you the tools you need to understand how to overcome an obstacle, right? Like, even though like we can talk about Cuphead on how like this journalist didn't understand how to jump over in the tutorial, right? There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things I really wish were clarified, at least. Because again, and you can kind of see if I'm recording it that the Mantas are like skipping frames. And like, again, like locally I'm fine, but like you can tell that, you know, the Mantas definitely were like never ever like well designed, I guess is the word. I think I see some databanks. Yeah, I think I see one. You can kind of see it if I can actually point like this right here. Should be able to see my cursor right there. And I think I see a shipyard. I'm not sure. It looks like a shipyard. Or is that a ship? Yeah, so the server's actually like, you can definitely tell that the Mantas are putting strain. Oops. Another thing is I hate that you can just fall off, and it's kind of difficult to get back up if you design your ship poorly around the concept. I'd have liked like something like a rope ladder or something that you could climb. Let's see. Oh wow, yeah, that's a pretty beefy ship there. I actually might take a look down there just to. Oh yeah, it collapsed. Okay, so whatever they were doing, they probably gave up, or the lightning storms got to them. Maybe. I don't know. The grappling hooks, you know, even though sometimes they weren't consistent, were very satisfying to use. And I really enjoyed the fact that you could just do all sorts of different things with them if you played your cards right. And you could definitely take advantage of momentum and things like that. I have all this stuff on me, but again, it isn't really worth much. Like, these Cyphers are basically useless. Like, I'm happy to trade them, but, you know, it's somebody that actually will use them. But for me, they're just about useless. Yeah, so I actually may need to make another storage container because we're running out of room. Oh, I need to make sure I'm not still descending. It looks like I am. Oof. Okay. I'll just give it a quick lift. There we go. Okay, I will say it actually, I do enjoy like fixing all like destroyed ships and picking off parts off them. It used to be a lot easier, but you cannot dock a ship without a spawner anymore. And so, let's take a look at this. Wow, this is open. Oh, Explorer's Tunic, okay. Ancient Leather. Nothing of real value here, and the spawner does not have a name on it, so it's abandoned. Yeah, so essentially, I imagine like this was sitting. Yeah, these aren't very resilient wings either. Yeah, I imagine that there was a probably it was sitting in there for so long, and then he logged out and didn't come back in, because again, like, your ship does not respawn, or, I'm sorry, your ship doesn't despawn if you leave it docked. I didn't like that. It was kind of weird how the docking system worked. It didn't give you like an exact, like, what should have happened is that as soon as you log out, your ship disappears, but then people would have abused that. Like, I don't know, a lot of different things. And there's 5 databanks here, so should probably dock. That'd be a smart idea. I have all this stuff on me, so that's gonna be the frustrating part. Also, the fact that like the assembly stations took so long took so much space. And I'm stuck. So here's what I'll do. I'm actually going to log out and I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Just need to adjust something here because I think I'm getting some dropped frames. So I'm going to try and fix it on my end, and while I'm going to take the ship into that. There we go. So at least what I did is I put it into Ascend, and then you exit. I just log out, and I will take it to be back. And yeah, hang tight. Okay, so we are back, and hopefully nothing breaks or anything. But, yeah. I'm gonna come right back into things. And we're gonna load, and load some more. And, alright, there we go. Now, while we are descending, I can figure out what the heck I'm going to do with all this stuff. So, guess I'll put that there. There. And again, I have all this ammo, but I don't technically need it. I actually should just donate it to somebody, really, that was actually going to use it. Crafting, shipbuilding, assembly station, shipyard. Okay. What do you mean not enough space? Oh god, fine, I'll delete this. Still not enough space? Oof. Okay, how about now? I still don't have enough space? Wow. Alright, how about now? There we go. Okay. Another frustrating thing about this game is running out of space. And I didn't switch back to the right screen, so there we go. Okay, well, that's okay. You didn't need to see me prepping all that anyways. We equip this, and then I just set this underneath like so. Okay, nope, don't, I guess I'll put it right here. And watching it kind of dock automatically is kind of satisfying. So, I give them a good job for that. Yeah, so there are 5. Come on. Come on. You're having fun there? Guess I have to give you a helping hand, don't I? Alright, come on. Come on. Oh, okay. Little bounce there. Dock? Yes? Okay, cool. I do like seeing the bubble pop up. Very cool. I actually do kind of miss seeing the I guess all the bubbles. Really, for lack of a better word, just everybody building ships and I guess we'll go take a look for some treasure. Oh wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. And nope. Nope. Okay, what do we got in here? Bullets. Nope. These are all, well, at least I know where to go if it refills. But that's only one. Nope. Okay. Guess we'll keep going. I actually am going to... Does this have an Atlas core on it? I don't think it does, unfortunately, so I can't... I take it this ship didn't even get finished being built. Because the paneling has been taken off, but I'm not really sure what happened. Maybe he stripped it and then, but then why would the shipyard be here and the other one wouldn't be, so. I have no idea. Always take a look under the island as well, because that can hide lots of little nooks and crannies. And if you're lucky, you might find something worthwhile in these nooks and crannies. And see, sometimes you'll see like undersides kind of just there with little pockets, but they won't really have anything. But it never hurts to look, because if you're looking for all that precious data to get more schematics, you have to keep your eyes open. And so I thought I saw something there, but nope. But you can kind of tell already that this game is just so relaxing to play, right? Other than the PvP, it's a great way to unwind. Personally, in my opinion. And you can kind of tell how the server's dealing with the bugs. What's this? Huh. Another dead body. Take the glass. I guess the iron would be nice. Always gotta wonder what happened to people on these islands. The berries are nice. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I'm looking through these peaks, I don't really see anything. Nope. Did I get this one yet? I'm not sure if I did. No, I already did. Okay. So which must mean the rest of them are like probably in caves, or maybe over here. I haven't checked. Oh, more loot. What do we got? Palm. Alright. We'll take it. Ash and elm. Okay. Cool. More glass. Broken brome chestnut. What's this? Ooh, okay. Traveler's poncho. So I'll learn that. Do I have enough knowledge yet for 285? Alright, I already get another engine. Spark cranker, power 22. I think that's pretty solid, but I have rare engines, so these are still bad. Let's see. What about here? Beetle blood linen. Anything in here? Nope. Nope. Sword blade. Nope. Oh, wait a second. I don't think I looked in there. Tin can. Okay. Is there something in the middle of that I missed? I hope not, because then I'm gonna feel real stupid. Oh, of course. I just love the landscapes, honestly. Very relaxing. So I found 3, but where are these other 2 elusive ones? Creating 2. Oh, okay, cool. That means I only need one more to get to the rare ones. I really just want to destroy all these Cyphers because I legitimately won't use them. And free up some space. I imagine like the legendary ones are going to be like bigger stat bonuses and stuff like that, so. You can kind of see in the background how like that bug is just skipping frames. And like, I imagine their servers are probably on fire. But I couldn't tell you. And it goes without saying, but, you know, I really would like to know what the heck they were thinking for certain things. And just looking at, you know, all the things that I've been able to accomplish in this game, I'm really grateful, but just, I'm also frustrated. Let's see. That's quality 7. What about this? Can we... Awesome. Also, we will be welcoming in a person I've had the pleasure of help experience the game with me. And
you're streaming right now?
There is a great amount of pleasure that I've had in sharing. So, hello, Ren. I am in fact streaming, but I'm just here to document my memories with you, as I'm sure you already know.
Oh man, this is my first time on a stream. What am I supposed to be doing with my hands?
Oh, we don't see your hands, so I think you're okay.
Yep. Huh.
But, you know, we were just talking earlier about how, you know, the developers are frustrating in many regards. But you'll also be happy to know I have the Traveler's Poncho schematic, if you want one.
Okay, no, I'm fine with my, oh shit, I don't know what I'm allowed to say anymore.
Well, keep it PG. How about that? PG-13's allowed one use of the F word, but I'd prefer you didn't.
That's like half my vocabulary, man.
I figured, but, you know, I'm sure you can keep it clean within. We only have about 1 more hour left, so. And, you know, Ren, I've not given you too much freedom in our navigation, but I'd like you to pick where we go next. I want to play the game through your eyes, if that makes sense. I just want to get some nice footage. Oh, how about slowing down there, buddy?
Hey man,
You jerked
you
us
kill
to the
you.
left, and I thought I was gonna go flying.
Hey man, you killed me like
You're
just
right.
like that.
You're right. I'm sorry. Okay, you can go ahead and tell me where you want to go, man. I'll just
This way.
Okay. You tell me. Do you want the sails on? Yeah, you can be the captain, right?
All right, listen, buddy. I don't know how to play this game.
Well, that's okay. You're just enjoying it with me. And if you make mistakes along the way, that's all right too.
All right. I'm used to making mistakes, man. My parents aren't though.
Oh, Ren, I'm so sorry.
No joke though. I have no idea where the hell this is going.
Well, just pick a direction, and if you see an island you like, well, then I guess we're gonna stop there.
Are the cells on?
No, but would you like them up, Captain?
Yeah.
All right. Is this where you go? Look at me. I am the captain now.
Man, I punish mutiny with bullets. Got it.
Oh, okay.
Also, are we aggroing mantas right now? Because I can hear them.
I don't think so.
What the heck?
But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the ambiance is when the sun has set and we are looking up at the stars, how beautiful it is, and we are simply letting the wind push us where we will go.
This looks like a good spot.
Okay. Are you talking about the island way over there? And it's
Listen,
straight
buddy, it
ahead?
hasn't even loaded in on my screen yet.
Oh, okay. Well, there is an island in that direction. I'm not sure if we've visited it yet. But.
Alright.
Torches out for Harambe.
Alright, I'm gonna stop you right there. I had to unsubscribe from the Harambe subreddit because of this.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know there was a subreddit for Harambe.
You're better off not knowing there was, but
All right.
I guess you're welcome. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I need one more engine, uncommon engine, before I get the rare engines, and then we will be pretty solid and push.
Okay, so I need about 75 more knowledge, then I can get my next Atlas
Awesome.
thing.
I am worried about the wings, so one of us is going to have, well, engines are really expensive, so I'd imagine that with your leftover knowledge, after you get that next one, we could probably focus on wings.
Alright.
The only reason I say that is because common wings are only 100 knowledge per, which that's pretty cheap for ship parts.
Huh, everything just turned blue on my screen.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh boy. Is there still an island in front of us?
I think so. We're drifting downward. So you want to make sure you're mindful. It looks like we're passing into a fog wall. I can't see diddly squat. See, you know what this game needed? Some lights, some like ship lights, like fog lights.
Nah, dude, I'm just gonna attach like 500 torches to the front of the ship.
And that's how you get lag.
This, I mean, what? Better lag than not being able to see anything, right?
Oh, okay. It stuttered for a little bit. There's an island over there to the right. It looks like. I think I did visit that one, but obviously you haven't yet. So.
Can't see Jack.
Oh well.
All right, first mate, you take it.
All right. Do you want to go over there, or?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Okay.
leveling up, so hang on.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't remember if I visited this one yet or not. I think I opted not to just because it... yeah, no, I did. I think I did. I probably did. So this would be an island for you to explore
no.
then. Did you fall?
Almost. My game started loading something.
I'm just gonna keep one sail up.
I'm trying my hardest to get back up there.
Oh. Are you okay?
No.
Where are you?
I've been hanging for dear life for like the past minute.
Oh, well, don't worry. As soon as we get out to an island, you can free to explore.
Did I die at the end of our last session? I did, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna be taking a stack of berries, if that's alright.
No, you're good. Yeah, so I think I did come here, but I didn't get to explore it all the way. Another big benefit of, exploring with you is that, if something does happen, I can watch the ship at least a little bit better.
Yeah.
That being said, if we don't dock it and somebody drives off with their ship, and I died.
Get you baited.
Yeah. I didn't have anything super valuable on me, just a bunch of metals and what have yous. But still, the fact that you can just lose things so readily in this game is very frustrating.
Hey man, I lost that mask 3 times, and I got
And
it
you
back
still
every time.
found it.
I feel like I've been here before, but I'm not exactly too sure. If I found the knowledge. There's only 2 knowledges on this map,
Yes,
by the
there
way.
are only 2 knowledge. And one's actually right by the ship. I forgot. So yeah, there is one up here, and then I think there's one higher up.
Okay.
Oh, this isn't open. More lore. Oh, the bank is over there, but I'm sure you see that already.
Bank?
The data bank to the left.
Yeah, yeah. I already picked that one up.
Okay, cool.
Oh, there's a bandana here if you want to wear it.
Is there really?
Oh, okay.
Lead and orthite. Yeah, I'll take them.
Do we need oak wood?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. Okay, where's... So the other knowledge is all the way at the top of this island?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I can't tell you, like, exactly, but I will head to the top of the island all the same. It might be in the middle also. I can't remember for the life of me. But since we're on the subject of documenting things, I do want to ask you, just since you've had time to experience the game now that I can actually document it, what has been your impression? Good, bad, ugly, all of it. Just give it to me.
Like, it's a fun game, but it has its fair share of problems. I'm sure that's very generic, but wow.
What do you think
I
the
guess,
game would have benefited from the most?
When you ask me that question, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, there is no wrong answer. I'm just asking you because you have only been playing recently, and obviously you found that you enjoyed it to some extent. You've definitely found that there's plenty of bugs, right?
Well, I guess my biggest thing was the errors or whatever I get whenever I tried to log in.
Right.
So it took me like 10 tries to log in about 5 hours ago.
Right.
And then, oh, hey, there's a shipyard up here. And then I always get this error where my screen is constantly turning to the left. Like every time I log in. It didn't happen this time, but it's still annoying nonetheless.
Yeah, and again, that's reasonable. I can't really defend that. It's like, you know, the bugs were frustrating and they were not fun to deal with.
And I guess I would say my biggest enjoyment in this game is the, well, it was the grappling hook, but now that I got the skyglider, it's that. I don't know. I just love being completely safe while flying or falling.
Oh, yeah?
I will say that I've almost killed myself multiple times with this thing.
Oh, yeah. That's expected.
Hey, I think there's a dead manta on the bottom.
Oh, yeah. That's probably one I ran into earlier.
Okay. Wait, where's the ship at? Is it all the way at the very top?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea what cooling factor means. 21. Oh, okay. I see. I was like, well, I was wondering what CF meant, but what a beautiful day. Another day in World Adrift. Actually, I'm kind of curious how old the server days are. Like, I know Ark recorded it, but obviously this game I have no idea. I really would like to know how many days have passed in-game.
11.
Tree Fitty.
Okay, well, I found both knowledges already. And
Alright, well.
as far as I can tell, we aren't going to get really any better schematics here.
Well, yeah. Well, if you want to head out, we can.
Okay.
I just have to get my bearings so I can navigate. Okay, so we're looking at south right now. Okay.
Yeah, remember, you know, this is why you don't let the Asian person drive.
Oh my god, Ren, please.
Is that allowed?
No, but I get what you're saying, and no, that's no. No.
Oh, I died.
Oof. So it looks like we can actually go north. And go to Sage.
So are you sure the gliders have are
Durability.
breakable?
Yes, but it takes a very long time for them to break. Also, you see that shipyard? I placed that earlier today.
Okay.
Also, we've got Mantas on our back, if you wouldn't mind.
There's two. Oh, don't get him away my shots.
I think that's Sage up there. Okay.
Okay, should I unfurl the sails?
You can. Yeah, we can kind of just drift. We got plenty of gas. We can...
Yeah, man, but we gotta conserve what we get. We're only two people.
You're right. You're actually right. So let me slow it down. There we go.
Plus, I only have like 80 bullets left, dude. What if more matches come?
You're right. Oh, watch it, buddy.
Listen, man. Every time maybe I
Oh,
should just stop having my pistol out when I alt tab.
that'd be a good idea.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm guilty of it too.
Alright. Next time this happens, I'm gonna call you out so hard.
You're right. Alright. Let's see.
Is the mirror, does that thing kind of look like a face?
Kind of. I I see two twin peaks, but I don't really see a face. I kind of see
It's like the bottom part, that weird, like,
oh, the bottom part.
nose shaped looking thing.
You know what? I actually do kind of see a face, but you have to like look at it at a certain angle, I guess.
It's Shinnok from Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god, you and your Mortal Kombat games.
Hey man, they're fun games. Shameless plug.
I don't think I've been here yet, so.
I mean, it looks like just one giant blob of an island. Or they could have
You
its
see,
own
so here's the thing.
system.
Usually we get excited about those kinds of things because it means that the databanks are easy to find, but that whole thing could be hollow and we don't know it yet.
You think I could survive jumping off here?
If you got enough of a in the air high enough, you probably could.
I heard a yes.
Yeah, okay. Hey, you don't seem to be going very far, buddy.
Listen, you're not believing in me hard enough.
I
I'm gonna have
believe
to
in you.
report a hate crime.
Oh, please.
Well, you weren't wrong.
Well, you know, I had a feeling. We'll just call it a hunch.
See, I would have lived, except my glider decided that I needed a little bit of rest time. I hope it didn't break, honestly.
Oh, there you
I had
go.
enough for the upgraded Atlas thingies.
Excellent. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll probably. I guess I could dock on this island, and we'll install the upgrades.
I don't know, man. There's not that many trees here.
Usually that's a blessing in disguise, just merely because the ship can get caught on them. I'm hoping that we get some wings with this decent resilience, because that will determine whether we push through or we get blown to bits.
Oh, hey, there's a shipyard over there. Like,
Over where?
well, I was looking at it, then I fell off a cliff. But so it's in the center.
Okay.
There's two knowledges right next to each other.
Excellent. That's fantastic news. Oh yeah, they're super close to each other.
There's only two.
Oh, okay. Works for me.
Okay, I'm gonna go explore for a bit.
Go for it. There's probably lots of little nooks and crannies you can look through in this.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to get the Atlas thingy while I'm still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, cool. We're docked. I get the knowledge from here.
Okay, I'm gonna get the air filter system.
Excellent. You can just load it up and I'll get the gold out and the bronze.
Okay, so it's gonna need about 50 metal for the casing, 50 internal, and 4 atlas shards.
I have that, don't worry.
Yeah. Just letting you know so you can grab it all in one go.
Gracias. Okay, filter internals, casing. This is not the PTS Out on Fire. How you doing? Good to see you. If you're planning to stream snipe me, which I highly doubt it, but if you were, I really don't have anything worth taking anyways. But hello, good to see you. Awesome. All right, how much are we at now? Oh, 2678. That means we can add another engine probably comfortably. I'm excited.
Did you say we needed better the propeller thingies?
Wings. We need better wings.
Okay. Well,
Engines, I'm handling right now.
okay.
We.
So can I just salvage this green one that I found?
Oh yeah. By all means. We're working on getting at least a decent amount of wings because. Let's see. We want to try and get these to 30 each, if possible. It makes it easier. But yeah, we're in good shape. I'm definitely excited. So yeah, you can definitely see our stuff. Oh, if you could showcase some new features. Well, unfortunately, the reason that I'm doing it on this is because I wanted to go through a storm wall. It's on my bucket list. I've done a tier 4 sand wall, but I've never been successfully able to go through a. Let's see. Actually, let's check the map. Where are we right now? Sage. Okay. So we've covered a pretty decent amount of these islands here. Yeah. So we can probably go after here. We can go straight north and go push through to tier 2 again. Just let me know when you're ready.
Looks like there's nothing under the island.
Okay. Roger that. Actually, while you're here though, Out on Fire, they are planning to do like ×5 for the update. So I was hoping that they would do ×10, but we'll have to see. Also, I'm gonna try and make something out of here. Let's see if I can. Traveler's poncho. I just need cloth. Do I have cloth? Yes, I do. Okay. I just want you guys to admire this. Okay, so a storm wall in this game, to get to from tier 2 to tier 3, you have to cross a storm wall. Now, tier 4 walls are sand walls, right? And those, in my experience, have been easier. Tier 3 walls, lightning can strike any random component and disable it so that you can't use it. So it is possible for you to have your helm disabled and you can't pilot through that storm, which makes crossing them significantly more dangerous and more risky. Ironically, though, even though a tier 4 wall damages everything slowly, you can repair it. It's really not a big deal. And if you push through fast enough, you don't even need to worry about it. So that's what I mean. But hello, B4 or Bea4. If I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, please call me out on it. I more than certainly will not mind at all. Anything good at the other side of the island by chance? I want to try these pigments work. I'm gonna use
Not really.
Forest. Okay.
Oh, I found an iron node and I lost half of it.
Oh. It's expecting die. Feels bad. I just want you to appreciate the animation for this. I'm glad I'm able to record it. So, from what I was reading actually, panels are like awful to have. Like, you want to ignore paneling and just go straight for the you want to take all the paneling off you can. Like, the argument is that you want to go through as fast as possible, and any extra weight will just slow you down, which, again, it's just, I've never done it successfully because I've never found like a strategy that worked. We're going to go ahead and pass through a storm wall actually here, so. Oh, I'm sorry, a wind wall. We do have a decent amount of upgrades, so we are going to focus on wings now, and then I will be doing engines, and I'm hopefully by the time we get to this new tier 2 zone, we're going to be able to get some nice knowledge I'll get another engine for that will be uncommon, and then I will get rare. That rare engine, I hope, will provide us ample opportunity. And we will need to remake the frame. I don't remember what I made this one out of though.
Wood.
No. I'm talking about the frame, not the panels. It says the beams are made out of like orthite or something, so yeah. I have no idea. You've never had an issue. You're just surprised you never done it. No, I'm serious. Personally, I've tried it several times, and I guess I just wasn't prepared enough, and I've lost. It probably because I was doing it solo, and I've learned that there are different ship shapes that you'd want to do, and it's on my bucket list, right? Like, obviously, I'm sure you already know that the game's shutting down. I personally prefer a tier 4 wall just because it is less chaotic in my opinion. You literally just have to push through as you're taking damage, which as long as your engines are in decent resilience rating, you're going to be okay, right? And there's no like surefire way to do it because it's trial and error. And unfortunately the way the game is like the trial and error is a lot, learned by doing, and it's painful sometimes. Also, I'm going to keep the ship in ascending here. And if you have any tips, I mean, you're more than welcome to share them, because I'm not going to be like, oh, that's not how you do it. It's like, I've never successfully done a storm wall. Let's see. You have not seen like 5 Atlas lifters on something. I kind of want you to play around with them if you want. Like, if you find a panel on the floor, Ren, you can totally just strap on like 5 Atlas lifters and play around with it if you want. There's actually, I heard a story of like a guy, like, apparently way back when the game was first coming out, you could attach a grappling hook to a cannonball and just launch yourself into tier 2 that way. Also, supposedly, like, you can attach Atlas lifters to a sail and then drift into tier 2 or something like that, but I wouldn't recommend it. So with my ship intact, I mean, like, I've never done it to where I've survived. Like, I've actually legitimately had my ship destroyed in the storm wall. And honestly, like, trying to get from tier 2 to tier 3 has always been difficult for me. I've never done it successfully. I've always had people just help me skip tier 3 and go right into tier 4, because technically tier 4 is better anyways, so there's literally no point. Like, I have been spit out in the tier 2 reviver before. I think only once did I get spit out, because you have to be far enough into tier 3, like the wall, to spawn on tier 3 side. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and align. Make sure you buckle in your seatbelt, Ren. We're going to go on through. Make sure that the sails are put away. Okay, yeah, they are.
Come on, man, I've been playing this game for like a week now.
No, I'm telling you, like, honestly, I forgot to do it one time, and I think we lost our ship because I forgot.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and we were going to tier 4, so.
Did you get kicked out of the ship?
Yeah. Also, I have yet to put the artificial horizon on, but I'm thinking in this tier 2 zone we can finally, like, break down the ship and...
Do you need me to tell you when you're dipping, or do you got it?
I think I do, yeah. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Alright.
I love the music. But the music actually for tier 3, getting into a tier 3 storm wall is so cool, but it's very, very stressful. I'm telling you.
Oh no.
Are you okay?
No.
Also, I'm really sad that the altimeter isn't like a blueprint you can learn. You have to find it, I guess. Altimeter is really useful because if you're dipping like a lot of altitude, it's easier to tell.
Am I being dumb, or is this one a lot longer than the one we did before?
I think we're going in diagonally, that's why. But we're almost out.
Okay.
Oh, wow, look at that island.
We're gonna head over there to do our upgrades.
Probably. That would be smart.
Is there another ship over there? I can't really
I hope
tell.
not. Okay. And we're just about out. We're just gonna... Yeah. Okay. Cool beans. Let's slow down.
Cool.
I like that island to the right. I do want to visit that one for sure. That one's really cool looking.
Alright. Oh no, that's just a part of the island. Have we been here before?
No, this is the first time we're in this specific area.
Okay. I thought I recognized some of the decorations.
I really like this island. Well, it's really pretty. But it's also very big, which doesn't translate well to finding knowledge. And if you look to the east, that's a storm wall that we will be pushing through, hopefully, in the coming days.
I think I see unused shipping. That I don't know what they're called anymore. Yeah, it's right there.
Shipyards.
Yeah, it's next to the weird circle thing.
Oh, actually, yeah. Okay. Good eye. I'll go ahead and pull us forward then.
And there's an abandoned ship over there. It's been sunk though.
Where? I don't have
It's like
eyes on it.
behind that weird circle thing to our right.
Oh. Well, you have a great sleep. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Can you check those crafters and see if there's anything good in them?
Only green for engine. And you said wings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing good in here. Wings, same deal.
Oops. Oh, that's not
boy.
good. That's okay. Come on.
Is it repaired enough?
No. But I need to make sure this doesn't, There we go. There we go. Also... Uh-oh. Why is our ship going... Oh, the sail's not down, that's why.
Oh no.
That would have been bad if it were, if we didn't catch that in time.
I'm gonna use a bit of fuel to turn us around.
Yeah, go for it. Honestly, I'm really grateful that those engines we found are fuel efficient. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, this is a perfect island to do some repairs.
Thunderstorm?
Where?
Oh shit.
You good?
No. Yes. That's good enough, right?
Yeah, close enough.
I'm gonna go explore.
Let me know if you find anything good.
Okay. How much fuel are we on, by the way?
Oh, we have a lot. Don't worry.
Okay. Oh. So it looks like there's people here already. I just don't know how long ago. Oh, this island goes very deep, by the way.
How deep?
It's like 4 or 5 levels.
Oh, wow.
I really gotta stop trying to Spider-Man my way everywhere.
It's more fun that way, though.
Yeah, except I've gone through like 2 stacks of berries now.
Oof. Alright, cool. This engine is rare. You didn't see it. These are perfect.
Oh, did I miss a chest or something?
No, you missed these engines. These are perfect. We're gonna have to do the ship here. These have really good resilience.
I don't know, man. I just didn't see.
No, it's
anything
okay. It's
besides
okay.
green.
When you're done exploring, please let me know. Wait, did you die?
The law requires me to answer yes.
Okay, so I need you to maintain ownership of this shipyard, and I'm gonna make. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new ship frame.
And we're gonna start finessing everything.
We're basically gonna rip everything off and then put it on our new ship. But
Okay.
before we do that, I just need you to maintain ownership, and then I need to take a look at our materials. So,
Maintain
thankfully,
ownership
I do think we have a lot of tin. Unfortunately, I don't think we can make it out of aluminum because we don't have enough. But paneling, I'm thinking we can do birch. So we have plenty of birch. Okay. If you lose ownership of that shipyard, as if like you interact with a new one, we won't be able to access it. We have to break the shipyard.
Well, I mean, as long as I'm here, I still got it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm really excited because these engines are perfect. Like the spin up is irrelevant, honestly. Like the power, it does 50% damage regardless of resilience. Okay, well now I know, but those are solid engines all the same. Thank you for letting us know, by the way.
Dang it. Should I start stripping anything right now?
No, just leave everything there because we want to strip when we're like getting ready to transfer everything over.
Okay.
You can do me a huge favor though and make a makeshift storage so that way we can trade items in between without me, because I'm gonna lose access to that shipyard.
It's made out of wood, right?
Wood and cloth.
Okay.
We have
What
cloth in
wood
the.
are we using?
What's that?
Are we using hemlock?
No, not really. You can use hemlock.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So.
Anything you want me to start transferring over right now?
No. Just place it down, like right next to this crafter, and we'll be good.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and take control of this now. Miss Meowsy, good to see you. How you doing? That is a sight for sore eyes, if I ever did see one. Dunebug. Let's see. Rename. Spear. Click edit. Where's edit? I don't even see edit anymore. I'm doing okay. Not too shabby. This game you've played once, but actually I'm playing it now because the game is sunsetting, which means it will be closing down shortly in the next coming months.
Oh gosh.
Dude, but how do I edit the frame? Where's...
Huh.
Am I blind? Oh, I am blind. Okay, let me see. Alright, yes, it will be shutting down in the end of June, beginning of July. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Light completely. Yes, completely. Let's see. It's because it wasn't making enough money. Yep, you can't even buy it on Steam anymore. So anybody that had it has it. Teardrop shape. Well, you can still enjoy it while the time is you know, for what it is.
By the way, aren't these shipyards too close to each other?
Nope. You're good.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'm gonna go check out what's up the abandoned ship over
Oh, no,
there.
go ahead. Go ahead. Actually, as a matter of fact, while I do plan this, I am going to make the ship a reveal for the next time we stream. So, don't you worry, guys. We're going to go ahead and pass it over to somebody here really quick. And, yeah. I appreciate you guys. I am going to look for somebody to raid really quickly here. And, yeah. And I will see you all next time. Take care, everybody, and remember that we will be streaming this game until it sunsets. So I will be documenting everything. For now, take care.